Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely pumped you're here today because we're going to act as your personal exam code breakers. Look, if you're a 10th standard student staring down your final public board exams, you already know that Sociology Chapter 24, which covers social challenges, is a total goldmine for marks. But let's be real, it can also feel a little overwhelming with all those laws and dates, right? Well, not anymore. We're going to take those dense textbook pages and flip them into guaranteed board exam marks by breaking down the exact concepts, the precise definitions, and the specific laws you absolutely need to know. So here is our quick roadmap for today. We're covering 1. The child labor crisis. 2. Laws against child labor. 3. Stopping child marriage. 4. Eradicating the dowry system. 5. Foeticide and infanticide. And finally, 6. An ultimate board exam timeline. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the child labor crisis. Now, examiners demand exact legal definitions for this concept. If a question asks, what is child labor, you can't just write when kids have to work. Honestly, you will lose marks. You've got to lock this specific constitutional definition into your brain. Child labor is specifically when children aged below 14 years work in order to earn money. Below 14 and earn money, those are your two magic keywords. Stick them in your answer and boom, full points. When we're talking about the causes of child labor, I want you to use a super simple memory trick. Just think of the word pig, literally pig. What does it stand for? P is for poverty, I is for illiteracy, and G is for the greed of industrialists who just want cheap labor. Sure, there are other reasons like domestic conflicts or kidnapping, but if you kick off your board answer with pig, you are completely setting yourself up for success. So, what happens when kids are forced into this? If they hit you with a 3-mark question asking for the demerits or effects of child labor, you need to confidently list these exact points out. It results in physical and mental abuse, causes severe ill health and malnutrition, forces them into employment against their will, leads to serious economic and social exploitation, and, maybe worst of all, it completely snatches away their fundamental right to education. Just imagine a kid who should be playing or, dreaming in a classroom, but instead they're trapped working in a factory. That is the harsh reality you need to convey to your examiner. Moving smoothly on to Section 2, Laws Against Child Labor. Okay, this is absolutely crucial. Your ultimate legal weapon for the exam is Article 24. Quote this verbatim. Seriously, grab a pen and write it down right now. Article 24 of our Constitution declares that employing children below 14 years for work is a cognizable offense. It explicitly warns against employing kids in hazardous industrial units. Whenever you see any question about constitutional provisions for child labor, Article 24 should literally be the very first thing you write on that paper. Right after that, you've got to cite the Child Labor Prohibition and Control Act of 1986. And here is a tiny, specific detail that examiners absolutely love. It separates the top-tier students from the rest. Tell the examiner that industrialists who violate this law don't just get a little slap on the wrist. They are mandatorily forced to contribute exactly 20,000 rupees per child laborer to the Rehabilitation Welfare Fund. Dropping that 20,000 rupee fact, that shows you really know your stuff inside and out. Let's tackle Section 3, Stopping Child Marriage. Let's do a quick mental visualization. Imagine drawing a timeline on a whiteboard. Pop a red pin at 18 years for girls and a blue pin at 21 years for boys. If the needle drops below either of those pins, you've hit the strict legal definition of child marriage. So even if a 25-year-old guy marries a 17-year-old girl or a 19-year-old guy marries a 20-year-old woman, actually, it doesn't matter the combination. If either party is below their respective legal age, it's a crime. So you might be wondering, why does this still happen? Well, as you can deduce from the syllabus, the primary culprit is deep-rooted gender discrimination. It's this incredibly harmful belief that a girl is somehow a burden and should be sent off to another family early. And that's followed really closely by a simple lack of education. The text explicitly points out that if a family educates a girl to the 10th standard, they rarely ever get her married before 18. Education is literally the ultimate shield here. The physical effects of this are just tragic. A teenage womb simply isn't fully evolved, and that leads to a massive risk of maternal mortality and stunted holistic development for the girl. But you can provide the exact solutions on your exam to combat this, ensure 100% school attendance to prevent dropouts, and prioritize girls' empowerment. Oh, and here's another golden detail to write down. The government of Karnataka has designated 47 specific officers to prevent child marriage. If you or anyone knows this is happening, you can report it entirely anonymously by calling the toll-free number 1098. Writing call 1098 in your answer shows the examiner you understand the practical, real-world application of your textbook.
Okay, Section 4, eradicating the dowry system.
Before we talk about how to fix it, remember that the dowry system is deeply, deeply tied to the harassment of women. The ill effects of dowry lead straight to severe psychological torture, domestic violence, and tragically, sometimes even death. It crushes women's self-respect and just locks in inequality. Now listen closely, because here is a massive common student mistake. When asked how to eradicate dowry, most students just write down, implement the Prohibition of Dowry Act 1961, and they just stop there. But the examiners want more. Aside from the legal stuff, they want to see specific socioeconomic solutions pulled straight from the official answer key. You need to list population control, agricultural development, educational reforms, vocational training, rural employment guarantee programs, and even the development of IT and BT sectors. Why? Because empowering people economically and educationally is the true root solution to crushing this social evil once and for all.
Moving into Section 5, foeticide and infanticide.
Okay, red alert, guys. We are now entering the examiner's favorite trap zone. Take a deep breath and focus with me here. Do not lose silly marks by confusing these two definitions. Honestly, it happens every single year. Let's break it down so you never forget. Female feticide happens in the womb. It's the attempt to stop the natural growth of a female fetus or forcibly aborting it. Female infanticide, on the flip side, is the inhuman practice of killing the female baby after it is born. So, feticide equals before birth. Infanticide equals after birth. Keep those straight and you literally guarantee your marks. If we look at the raw data from the 2001 and 2011 census, it tells a really clear story. If you get an essay question on the effects of female foeticide, memorize just one or two of these data points to use. For example, in 2011, for every 1,000 men, there were only 940 women overall. And get this, it was just 926 in urban areas. Drop this exact census data into your essay to visually prove to the examiner exactly why female foeticide is a full-blown crisis, causing a massively imbalanced gender ratio. Doing that elevates your answer from just good to absolutely top tier.
Almost at the finish line. Section 6, ultimate board exam timeline. I need you to screenshot these 4 key dates into your brain right now. They are constantly tested in the multiple choice and fill in the blank sections. You ready? 1961 is the Prohibition of Dowry Act. Jump ahead to 1986, that's the Child Labor Prohibition Act. Then 1994 gives us the Prenatal Gender Determination Test Act, which was made to stop feticide. And finally, 2006 is the Child Marriage Prohibition Act. 1961, 1986, 1994, 2006. Lock 'em in for sure.
All right, you are now fully prepped with the exact definitions, the clever mnemonics, and the hard legal data to score top marks on Chapter 24. But remember, while acing your sociology exam is fantastic, the ultimate goal of these laws isn't just to fill out some bubbles on a test paper. It's for your generation to truly understand these social challenges so you can step up and build a fairer, much more equal society. So go crush that exam, but leave here asking yourself, how will you use this knowledge to fix society's bugs in the real world? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and best of luck on your boards. You're going to do great.